Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of Phoenix News. I'm Marcos Saliba alongside with my friend
Christian Flores.
Today we're going to have a discussion with Elliot, and Elliot's going to give us an opinion piece on the proper way to send condolences to a Gold Star family. So let's see what Elliot has to say about that.
Hello, I'm Elliot Hill from Phoenix News, and this is going to be an op-ed report about how Donald Trump reportedly disrespected a Gold Star widow over the phone. According to the New York Times and countless other news agencies, Donald Trump disrespected Gold Star widow Maisha Johnson during a phone call. Mr. Trump had called Mrs. Johnson in regards to the death of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson. Sergeant Johnson died in Niger by an ambush. 3 other U.S. soldiers died and 2 more were injured. The president had called to send his condolences, reportedly with Mrs. Johnson, her daughter, and Florida Representative Frederica Wilson present in the car. Ms. Wilson later reported her recollection of the incident. According to the New York Times, while Ms. Wilson heard the exchange, she wanted to curse him out because of his comments. Many news agencies were reported that Trump's comment was he knew what he was getting into, but I guess it still hurts. Ms. Wilson also claimed that he never once called Sergeant Johnson a hero or by his name, only referring to him as your guy, according to BBC News. BBC also said that Trump had stated that Obama and other presidents did not make calls, but later in a speech, a reporter asked, earlier you said Obama never made calls to the families of fallen soldiers. How can you make that claim? To which Donald Trump replied with, I don't know if he made calls, I was just told that. In actuality, Obama did make calls, according to a former Obama administration official. The official also said that Obama had a tradition to make calls to people in service during the holidays. I asked my mother, Deborah Hill, some questions on how to bring up and show respect to the family of the recently deceased. Particularly to a fallen service member, if you are to bring it up in conversation, bring it up at the right moment and do not during the car ride where the family is going to receive the body. Thank them for their service and do not bring politics into the conversation, otherwise it makes the person feel like their son, husband, daughter, or wife died for nothing. My mother described the feeling of losing someone to war as the feelings of helplessness and pride that her son had the courage to go out and fight. My mother, a Gold Star mother since June 26, 2007, a quote from her is, my son fought for the right to be able to take a knee during the national anthem. Whether I believe in it or not does not matter. My son fought and died for that right. And what she wants people to do and realize is the following. Take time to appreciate the freedom for what many people have died for, like taking a knee, being able to say their beliefs about what is happening in the government because other people in the world do not have that right. Just be respectful to people as a whole, especially if you are talking to someone about a recent passing of a family member. Bring it up at the right time and be considerate. Think of this as your own family to experience that loss. I am Elliot Hill, and from Phoenix News, thank you for your time, and I'd like to thank my brother Kevin for his service. Thank you.
Thanks, Elliot, for that inspirational segment you have shared with us. Moving on to other topics, Sarah Gonzalez talks about the Millennium's relief efforts to help the hurricane survivors on the East Coast. Sarah?
Hello, my fellow She Contenders. I'm Sarah, and thanks for tuning in. In recent news, I have interviewed Marilyn Espinoza. She is the secretary at Millennium Charter High School, and she has talked to me about how her and the group of ASB are trying to help out the people who were affected by Hurricane Harvey in Texas. Maya de Jesus, Diego Hernandez, and Leslie Hernandez are the people who came up with the idea about donating toothbrushes. They came up with donating toothbrushes because they thought it would be something simple and tea for toothbrushes. Over the past 2 weeks, they have collected 175 toothbrushes. Diego said, I felt like we were giving hope to the people in need and made Millennium a school of giving. In a world where natural disasters are getting more and more attention in the news, it's nice to see these efforts give back. So that's all I have for this week. I'm Sarah, and thanks for tuning in. See you guys next week.
Thank you, Sarah, for that report. It's nice to hear that Millennium's doing its part to help the relief efforts for those people that have been affected by hurricanes on the eastern coast. So next up we have Julia Mahano, and she's going to be discussing a segment that is called Word on the Street. Take a Knee. So it's going to be discussing Colin Kaepernick and how he's affecting local high schools on why he takes a knee in his games. Have you heard anything on that, Christian?
I have. He was recently awarded Citizen of the Year, so we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. So, Julia, we're listening. Tell us what you have.
Hello, this is World on the Street with Julia Mahano. In one of the most controversial protests of the 21st century, former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick decided to kneel during the national anthem, during their third preseason game of the 2016-17 season. His protest was due to all the police brutality and oppression against people of color that has been ongoing in the media. The first time anyone noticed was when a picture was posted online by Jennifer Chan of Niners Nation. Ironically enough, the photo had nothing to do with Kaepernick, but you can see him clearly sitting during the anthem. The 49ers later released a statement that yes, in fact, he was sitting down. Soon after the picture was posted, Kaepernick was bashed by many online commentators, saying that he shouldn't have done that because it was disrespectful towards the U.S. soldiers who have fought for this country. Kaepernick later stated, "I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. To me, this is something that has to change. When there is significant change and I feel that the flag represents what it is supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way it's supposed to, I'll stand." Now, a year later, Take a Knee movement has spread like wildfire, with players all over the league kneeling during the national anthem. The movement has even caught the attention of politicians in Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump has stated that NFL owners should force their players to stand during the national anthem. He went on to say that it was a disrespect to our nation. People who support Kaepernick believe he is being criticized just to shut him. Meanwhile, players continue to kneel. What do you guys think? Should the president be talking about this and giving his advice on the disrespect to our nation? Here is what North Salinas High school coach Darren Spence had to say.
This is my fourth year at North Salinas High School as head football coach and social science instructor. Had a lot of positive young men that I've worked with. Obviously, the season, my second year when we won the league, the Pacific Division League title, and won a playoff game against a school that I previously had coached at, was particularly enjoyable. Last year was a good year, as far as numbers-wise. We had our quarterback did a phenomenal job after having started for us for the last 2 years. So a lot of positives there. The challenges of moving up to the Gatlin division, there's a lot of different challenges. One of the main ones, the first thing was we lost a lot of seniors, and we had some young men coming back, so we were still very competitive. And then as we've gone into this year, once again, we've lost a bunch more seniors, and we haven't really been able to fill those in. So as far as experience playing in the Gatlin division has been difficult for us. Numbers-wise, hasn't been too bad. We've been, about 40, 45 young men. We started out with 40 this year, and we've had a couple injuries, so we're down to about 35 now. And so depth, as far as numbers, isn't too bad. Unless when you're going against schools that have 65 people like Salinas, that makes it difficult. But our kids are tough kids. They play hard, but it's the demographics of our school. Not necessarily demographics, but the numbers of our school are difficult because we're the smallest school, in our district, and one of the smaller schools in the Gatlin division. So that makes it difficult. One of the things I've learned about North and the reputation that North has had. Obviously, they've had some good athletes come through here, but also kids that have played hard, that have been physical and have been consistently trying to compete. We had a young man last year that got a full ride scholarship to UC Davis, Fabian Hunkin, who is a prime example of another good athlete that's gone through North. And I don't know if obviously he's going to play college football, so he's got a long ways to go before he has a chance to play at any other level. But he's just a prime example of the work ethic of some of our young men and the talent of some of our young men. You have to have good grades to get into UC Davis. And he did a phenomenal job here academically to get there, and now he's there, and he's working hard. And so he's just an example of the young men that have come through here and the challenges that they've faced, and being able to take those learning experiences and move forward and become a better individual. It is tough when you're having a difficult year, and you always have to go back to the basics of blocking and tackling and understanding the blocking schemes and the offensive schemes and the defensive schemes and where you're supposed to be. And it's really just going back to basics. And people say, well, you got to try to make it more fun. No, you got to keep trying to teach them values. And Yes, of course, everybody wants to win. I'm the most competitive individual in the world. I want to win, but also I want them to take something out of it. So when they go in later on in life, that they have values and they have things that they can look back and go, oh, I learned this from football. Even though we had a difficult season, I still learned these values. I was texting a young man that I coached in Southern California the other day, and he was telling me about he wishes that he still could play, and even though he saw that we were having a tough year, he's like, wow, coach, it would be so neat to come out on the field and play again, and all the values that you helped us learn as far as hard work and dedication and being just a good individual and taking that out into the world and applying those things to your job and to academics later on down the road.
National anthem prior to the game?
The main thing I've talked to our young men about is respect. I was personally in the military. We have a coach that works for us that is currently in the military as an Air Force recruiter, and so I've just talked to our young men about respecting the flag. If they want to have some type of demonstration, to grab arms and unite and be together, and that's the most important thing, is to be respectful and be together. And we've asked them to follow that policy, to respect the coaches, other people who have been involved in the military, and other people who have given their lives and have given their service for our country. And so we've asked them just to respect those things. As far as something written down, I have not written anything down. It's been more of me talking to the young men, because one or two of the young men have brought it up. And we've talked to them specifically about just having respect for the flag and for those people that have been involved in the military and given their lives and risked their lives for our country. Yeah, most definitely. I understand. Like I said, I lived and grew up in very tough and very difficult neighborhoods, and I saw discrimination, and I myself been discriminated against, in other venues, in other ways. So I understand, and there's some things I can never understand that some people have experienced, and I know that completely. But and I also understand people's concerns, but I also think there's a time and a place for everything.
We also spoke to Seaside High School coach Al Avila about how players should conduct themselves during the national anthem.
We felt that we were in a good placement in the 2016-17 year in Gabland, but we felt like this year we should have been placed in the Pacific. We did go back to the league and appeal the decision that the league had made, and we lost that appeal. But we felt like this would be a rebuilding year, and we have some very young student athletes with not a lot of experience at that age. We lost a large group of seniors last year. Our numbers have not been great at all three levels. We continue to struggle to try and provide the numbers, and you need to start with a big number in the A League because there's an attrition. We've had 7 concussions this fall already, and we do a really good job. We're USA Football certified, and so those coaches are working very hard on all of those pieces, but sometimes bigger, faster, stronger doesn't equate to the differences between the Gabland and the Pacific.
Tell me what the importance is, also because you're kind of teetering on the brink with your numbers, the importance of being able to have a winning program here, and the challenges that are brought upon not necessarily being able to compete when you are in the position you are, and
right.
How that affects kind of the program.
Sure. And I think you have to look for ways to redefine winning to start with in education-based athletics. So there's going to be a 7th place Gabaland team every year until we have an 8-team league or we have a 6-team league. But there's going to be a last place team in all of the divisions that we have. And so we look for ways to redefine success on what some little mini successes are for us based upon effort, based upon some of the things that we're working on within the program in football. We continue to struggle. There's going to be the redrawing of the boundaries, and with the opening of Rancho San Juan in this fall, we're going to end up with our 5th high school. And so our population has not been, for whatever reason, we continue to look for ways of why, but I think with the publicity surrounding concussions, the publicity surrounding the NFL, NC2A, et cetera, even lower league football, there are a lot of parents who are saying, I'm not going to let my son or daughter play football because we do have girls in our program.
Now I want to switch gears here to talk about another issue, the Take a Knee movement that's taking hold primarily in the NFL.
Sure.
Does North Salinas have any specific protocol for the national anthem playing prior to any of its games?
Well, the Salinas Union High School District did put out a memo from our associate superintendent just to discuss what are some of the options. And when we talk to the kids about respect and what we expect from them, they are young men and women who get to decide, athletics is a privilege. So with that privilege comes some responsibility, and we do expect respect. However, expecting them to stand is not a rule here, but we do expect them. I give the example, if I was in Argentina for a soccer game, I would stand for their national anthem. I may not know the words to the national anthem, I may not understand, but I would stand in respect in any country that I was in. That's my personal opinion. If our students choose to be respectful sitting or choose to be respectful standing, then that is a personal decision that they can make. We have not had any students make that decision yet, but if they did, as long as they were respectful during that time, then we would support them in that decision. Every kid has stood since it has started, and I think that's probably their head coaches and what they expect. And I think all of our head coaches in the city kind of have that same mentality of, we're in this together. And I think the kids see it more of their way of bonding and their way of showing respect. I don't think that doesn't mean that they care any less about some of the challenges that we're facing in our country today. And our district continues to be real proactive in giving us directives, and our board has been really good about getting information out to us about any subjects that might affect the students and the population in the community of Salinas.
So what do you think? Add us on Twitter at Phoenix News.
Thank you, Julia, for sharing with us that interesting topic on Colin Kaepernick and how he's affecting the community by him taking a knee during the pledge. Next up, we have sports. Phoenix Sports with Alex and Christian. They're going to be talking about the latest in the NBA. So for those of you that are into sports, now it's time for you to guys open your ears next to sports to see what Alex and Christian have to say.
Welcome to Phoenix Sports News. I'm your host, Christian Flores, alongside sports analyst Alex Heredia. On to sports, moving to the NBA, we have the Memphis Grizzlies moving on to number 1 in the power rankings. At this moment, they have beaten the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets, which are sitting right behind them. So, these stats haven't been found in the NBA yet, but, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, all those three make a run for it, but, yeah. Moving on to another subject in the NBA, Draymond Green and Bradley Beal have been fined for a tremendous amount of money after the incident. Alex, you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was a typical move by Draymond Green to fight back. Even knowing his past history in the NBA and his fighting, yeah. This time, it wasn't his fault. Yeah. He had no choice but to fight back, but eventually it led to a brawl. You see Kelly Oubre Jr. throwing punches at Klay Thompson. He got fined $15K, while Draymond Green got fined $25K. He said he didn't find that fair. I think he has a point. He didn't really fight. He didn't throw punches. It was Oubre really getting really aggressive.
I just feel since, the NBA, all the GMs, they find him such as a hothead. They just attack him because, he's well known for starting or igniting fights or any, accidents. But, I see how it's unfair, like the other night versus the Clippers and Portland Trailblazers. One of the coaching staffs from the Blazers flipped up one of the Clippers. Was it fans, I believe?
No, it was the general manager.
General manager.
He flipped off. Supposedly, he flipped off one of his friends that goes for the Clippers.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's playing around on that, but doing that, you can't be doing on national TV. It just looks bad on yourself.
Looks unprofessional.
Yeah, especially as being general manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Cleveland Cavaliers. They lost 4 of their 5 last games by an average of 17 points, and versus non-playoff teams from last year. What are your thoughts on that?
Having Derrick Rose take Kyrie Irving's part, I feel like it's a big problem because he doesn't fit as well as Kyrie did last season. I feel he doesn't play as a good point guard. Yet again he's very athletic. Don't get me wrong, but Kyrie Irving was there for the past 5 years plus. Coming in out of the draft, his first team. And
Kyrie Irving was that one player on the Cavs that made a difference with
Yeah,
LeBron.
the chemistry with
Yes.
one another
Chemistry
made a
was
big difference. So, I mean, having all these different players from all these other teams in the NBA, you know, they just got to build the chemistry, and it just takes time. So,
And especially with switching off the roles, now putting LeBron as point guard.
a lot of weight on the
Yeah.
shoulders. Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to take time. We'll just see how long it'll take before
Yeah.
the playoffs start. So, hopefully they get their mind straight and their game straight. So, we'll see how that turns out, especially with the Golden State Warriors and Spurs looking for that 1 seed in the West. So, we'll see how that starts. But I mean, Celtics are also making a run for it as well. I think Kyrie wants to prove a point that he is a leader, and he wants to prove everyone wrong from the Cleveland. So, yeah. On to the NFL. The 49ers signed Jimmy Garoppolo as a trade from the New England Patriots for the second-round pick in the 2018-2019 NFL Draft. Alex, what are your thoughts on that?
It was a good deal by the 49ers. They really needed his quarterback, experienced, playing with Tom Brady, knowing what Tom Brady could have given him. He's gonna do good. He's gonna have that leadership role on the offensive side. They needed it. This past quarterback, he had his chance. It wasn't working out. They do have a lot of young players, and this quarterback hopefully will do something with them and get them games winning, get them ready for next season. Hopefully next season they have a chance.
I just think it was a bad trade for the New England Patriots. They have Tom Brady as their only quarterback on the roster as of right now, so it's pretty. They're on the edge on things. Having him as the end of his career. You never know. He says he feels healthy, but you never know. A linebacker can hit it, blindside him. And there's a season for them. But
you have a point. Why would the Patriots for a second-round pick? They have a good team. Why would they want a second-round pick? I understand there's good players out there, but they already have a good team.
Exactly.
One bad move on Tom Brady and he's out. Yeah. Who are the Patriots gonna play? If they're looking for another Super Bowl, that quarterback is gonna have to step up a lot.
But I mean, that was a good trade for the 49ers. They stole that one.
Yeah, they did.
On to moving on other topics. The Texans rookie Deshaun Watson season comes to an end after tearing ACL into practice. What are your thoughts?
I feel bad for him. He's had his momentum and motivation so high right now in the NFL. He's gotten so much respect from the quarterbacks. As he's been nominated for MVP already, saying that he's gonna get MVP, and then right now he just practiced torn ACL. That's bad. He's out for a year. I don't know what to say. I feel like he was gonna have a great season.
He was.
He was really stepping it up right there. The Texans offense.
And knowing him, the Texans would have made the playoffs for sure. So.
But I'm pretty sure he'll handle this right. He already had this one time in college. His torn ACL. He came back good. But hopefully he comes back better
and stronger.
Yeah.
So, the Philadelphia Eagles move to 7-1 in the NFL. They are the number 1 ranked, and the New England Patriots are sitting right just behind them. So,
great job, Chris and Alex, for that latest sports wrap with the NFL and NBA news. Switching gears, let's check in with Manuel Morales and Sarah Gonzalez on the latest juicy gossip in Gossip XO. Manuel and Sarah, let's hear what you have to say.
Hi, welcome to my little bad beat to another episode of the Gossip XO on Millennium Phoenix News. My name is Manuel Morales and I'm here with Sarah Gonzalez. So the current juicy gossip we have for you today is The Weeknd and Selena Gomez have called it quits after 10 months of dating. So the two started dating around late January of this year, and then the relationship kind of like escalated as the months came. They bought a house or I think apartment together in New York, and they've been spending a lot of time together, going out to movies and just going to concerts together and just being a cute couple. The Weeknd was dating former model Bella Hadid before calling it quits with her and going with Selena Gomez. The two sparked their relationship in late January, like I said before, and have been like kind of inseparable. To make things more interesting though, I think a week ago or two, The Weeknd was the one who did the breaking up with Selena Gomez. TMZ broke the news that The Weeknd apparently broke up with Selena Gomez because he felt tied down to the relationship and he felt that it was burning out since the summer of this year. That's kind of weird. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's kind of weird.
Because he was like in love with her. Like in his song he released, Party Monster, there was like a line that said like, oh, like living like Selena Gomez or like something like that.
Yeah.
And like, it was kind of like everyone was like, oh my God, he loves Selena Gomez, they're gonna date. And then they dated, and now he's like the one breaking up,
Yeah.
like, it's a little weird. So the reason why they broke up was that they rarely see each other due to his coming up tour dates, and Selena Gomez is the executive producer for the hit show 13 Reasons Why. So I understand why they're breaking up. Like, they're like busy. They're like living two
they
separate
hardly ever see
lives.
each-
Like,
yeah,
they're
I get
really
it,
big
yeah.
stars. They also haven't been talking on the phone lately. Like, that's when you know it's going downhill if you can't even
Yeah.
pick up the phone and talk
I mean,
to
I'm
each
sure
other.
they can use 5 minutes before they go to bed or whatever. In the morning
Exactly.
while they're getting ready, FaceTime, something really quick. But I mean, if they can't even do that,
Yeah.
I mean,
The Weeknd was also said that he was happier being single, and he felt that he was being tied down to the relationship. And honestly, that's kind of
yeah, that's kind of messed up to let like the whole world know how he feels about like
it's like
his
dating like
relationship.
a loner boyfriend. Like, that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
The good thing is though that after the breakup, they stayed on really good terms, and they have been hanging out with other friends, and they remain really good friends. So I guess that they're talking now. Like, it's not awkward. I mean, it's always awkward when you like talk to an ex.
Is he talking to somebody right now too?
No, but you want to quiz. There are little like, ever since the breakup, Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber, they used to date each other, the exes.
Yeah.
Now they're hanging out again. They started hanging out October 2nd. They went bicycle riding together, and they were just having fun.
Oh yeah, I saw pictures of that.
Yeah, it's all over Instagram.
They
It's
don't
like,
look like they're just friends
yeah,
though. They look a
no.
little bit more than friends.
So Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, they used to date in 2011. They used to be like the hit couple everyone wanted to be. They were on and off again until like, I guess 2013. Selena Gomez called it quits after reported like Justin Bieber like cheated on her multiple times and just like wasn't a really good boyfriend to her. And I don't blame her. Like, she went to rehab right after they broke up. And like, honestly, like, do you think that like she went to rehab because of Justin Bieber?
No, I feel like it was like, I don't know.
I don't know. They've been hanging out more recently. They've been going to church together. Like, I think it was this Sunday they went to church together. So I mean, I guess they're like celebrating
How
God
does
together.
Selena's parents feel about it?
So TMZ caught up with Selena Gomez and her parents about like the whole situation with them, and she doesn't like the fact that they're hanging out again because we also found out that the reason why she went to rehab was because Justin Bieber was like hurting her like mentally with like so many cheatings, and so I guess he wasn't a good boyfriend behind closed doors. I mean, some like boy next door kind of stuff, like this girl. No. But yeah, and The Weeknd and Justin Bieber, like, I understand like if you would be upset because like he kind of like they're like kind of thing or whatever, and like Justin Bieber apparently. So Selena Gomez had like a surgery. She had to give one of her best friends her like kidney, and like that's when like Justin Bieber like was like really scared and started like hitting her up and was like, "Yo, girl, like what's up?" And she was like, "Yo," I was like,
"Yo, hey."
Yeah, but they've been hanging out together more recently, and Justin Bieber apparently he told people that he wants to start dating her again, but that she's not ready for that, but he's waiting for the okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, she just broke up she just like got out of a relationship right now. It's probably like a little too soon for her, but I mean.
Rebound, girl. He's a rebound boy. I mean, get over someone else, and like she's doing the rebound. The Weeknd's buying a dog. Like, it's crazy. Like, The Weeknd, after the breakup, he bought a dog.
And he hasn't even
He
named
hasn't
his
even
dog.
named it. I mean, I can give it a name. I can
Hubbles?
Hubbles,
I like
Rebound,
Hubbles.
Rebound Junior, a little dog. Like, it's a really cute dog. It's Dober Pincherman. I mean,
It's kind of cute, actually.
it's a really cute dog. So, what do you feel about the relationship now with The Weeknd and Selena Gomez? Do you think that it was good for them to break up, or?
I don't know. I mean, I never really cared about like her relationship with The Weeknd, but I mean, I like her with Justin Bieber, but I just hope that he doesn't cheat on her again, because that's going to be kind of sad if they break up again. And
she's going to rehab. It's going to be like a cycle. And honestly, I feel like they were a really cute couple because I remember when they like started like, when they made it official in like February, everyone was like, ew, why are they dating? But like honestly, like
they're
I thought they
kind
were
of
really cute.
Yeah, I thought they're cute.
They looked happy, and then that happened. I don't know. It's a little.
Their little issue happened.
It's messy. It's like a love triangle. Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, The Weeknd. It's like
little triangle.
It's a triangle. I mean, honestly, I hope she's fine. I mean, at least she didn't buy a dog. So, yeah. So, thank you for tuning to the Gossip XO. My name is Manuel along here with Sarah Gonzalez, and tune in next week for the juicy gossip.
Thanks, Sarah and Manuel, for that juicy gossip. Tune in next week's episode of Phoenix News. I'm Christian Flores alongside with Marcus Duliba, and we're tuning out. Thanks, guys.